Merry Christmas to everyone. All right, I have a couple of tutorials to do today. I went over some stuff with the way we had our starter, and I thought we'd add some extra things. One of them I want to add is a treasure chest. We've got items that we can pick up, but I thought a treasure chest would be kind of cool because you can get multiple items. You can get some gold. You can get whatever you want to put in a treasure chest. So we're going to start with just an empty game object here, which I'll call treasure chest prefab because I'll be making a prefab out of it later. The transform, I'm just going to reset the transform to make sure it's centered. And let's create a script for our treasure chest now. This is going to be a C# script, and this will be treasure chest. No spaces. Treasure chest. Okay, minimize that, get rid of it. Okay, so let's add some stuff to this. We're going to need a sprite renderer. New, that's not what's that. Sprite renderer, there we go. Okay, I already have a sprite that I've prepared. So this sprite here, you want to make sure that on a sprite like this, I'll start it over again just so you can see what needs to be done on it. Apply. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that it is set to multiple. It's a pixel art as well, so point no filter and compression none. And it's a very large image, so I went with 400 pixels per unit because um, each each of these is fairly large. Okay, so let's go into our sprite editor, and I'm going to go to slice automatic. Now, this is where you have to watch out because when it did that, it's just going to the bounds of the image. This image is 540 wide. This one is 539, and so is this one. So I'm just going to increase these 540 each. And that one also to 540. Oops, 540. And the height of both of the open ones is 610, and I want to do the same to this one. And the pivot point, I want it to be somewhere down in the base of the treasure chest. So if you imagine the footprint of the treasure chest and where the center of that footprint would be, let us take our pivot point down to about, I guess, here. Somewhere like here works good. 5 pixels. So 270 by 87. So let's do it for all of them. Sorry, that's 270 by 87. And you as well. Custom 270 by 87. Okay, once we have that, I can hit apply, close it, and I'm just going to drag the image into our sprite render so we have a base image, which will be the closed trunk. There it is. And we know that we want it to the player to walk in front and behind it. So we have to kind of do the same thing as we've done in tutorials before. And that is where we set up our sprite renderer. And the ordinate layer of the player is 10, which means we have to do the exact same thing here. Hold on, let me just make sure that the recording is going okay. Yep, looks good so far. Okay, so we are going to set this to 10 as well. There it is. And also make sure that we are sorting by the pivot point so that in front and behind works perfectly. All right, put it up here for now. And let us go and set this to, we need to add a box collider, 2D. This will stop our player from walking through the box. Let's bring that down to where the base of the box might be. And then we want something that's going to help trigger some stuff here. So I want to put in a polygon collider as well. So polygon collider, and do not need all of the points. Just need 4 points. And let's spread this out. So when you walk in front of the box is when it's going to activate the box. So in that area there. Okay, and I have to make sure I set this one to trigger. Now let's add our script to it. So our treasure chest script is, if I created the script, where'd it go? I created it in the wrong place. I did. Okay, let's just drag that, drop it in there, wait for everything to compile. Make sure everyone's happy. Okay, and go back to scripts, treasure chest, drop it on. There we go. Sorry about that. And let's open the treasure chest script. Okay, let's look at the things that we want. The treasure chest is going to be in 2 main states that we'll have. They have it when it's closed, they have it when it's open showing treasure, and they have it when it's been cleared out. But the only 2 real states that I care about is doing a public enum treasure state, and I'm going to say that I care about it being closed, and I care about being empty. Empty. Right. The other state of it being full and open, that's just a cosmetic thing. I want that when you walk up to the chest, it sort of pops open, and then when you walk away from it, it closes back down. It's just a cosmetic thing I want to use. I don't think I need a start or update. I think I do need an update. Yeah, I'll need an update. All right, so let's do some variables for it. The first thing is it's going to contain a list of item SO. Public list item SO. There it is. Okay. And let's just put items and equals to new list item SO. There we go. All right. What else do we want? Maybe we'll put some gold in there. Public int gold. And I'm going to be embellishing more on the items later, but your chest could have items, weapons, armor, a whole bunch of different things. But right now we just have the items and gold. Let's deal with the looks of it. Let's do a spacer here. Space 30. Now the look of it, we want to access our sprite render. I need to have those sprites actually there. So I'm going to do the sprites in a list. Let's call it the different looks. And that's new list of sprites. And public. Now we need to track the state. And let's just call it state. And I need to find out whether or not it is open. So false, because at the beginning it's not open. And we also want to track the state of the chest. So when we leave the scene and come back, so this is going to be our scene manager save and load system. And in order to do that, I need to have a public int scene manager int as a way of just tracking its position in the scene manager. Okay. Now let's do an on trigger enter 2D. And as usual, we're going to ask if the collision dot compare tag is equal to the player. And let's just take all of this and let's make this an exit. And same thing. So if we are walking in, then I want to say if no, I already got the if there. Sorry. Sprite render dot sprite is equal to now this is where we're going to have the open. So our main things are going to be kind of following these two things here. So the first sprite is going to be the close. The second sprite is going to be empty. Third sprite will be it being open and full. So because I want to track these, this is the important thing to track. So I'm going to say that in the looks, I'm going to choose the third one, which is the open but full. And nope. That. And then so it's going to be 0, 1, 2. So it'll become 2. And then the is open, obviously going to be true. Okay. The next thing we can check is sr dot sprite is equal to looks. This is going to be 0, so it's going to set it back, and is open equals false. Save. All right. Now, when we walk in, we'll know that it's open, meaning we'll be able to take stuff from it, and it'll look open. And when we walk away, it'll look closed, and we won't be able to take stuff from it. And here's where we're going to ask that question. So if the input dot get key up is going to be equal to key code dot spacebar. Okay, so if it is that somebody presses the spacebar, I want to find out if it's if the spacebar is pressed and it's open. So if the spacebar is pressed and we have an open and the chest is open, then we can do some stuff. Okay, first thing we want to do, whatever is in the items and the gold, we want to give it to the player. So we have our player manager here, and we're looking for the item inventory and the gold. So public int gold, that's like our pouch that stores all of our gold. All right, let's get to this. And we are looking for the player manager dot instance dot item inventory dot. Now, normally on this, it's a list we can do add, but I want to add multiple things. So I'm going to be saying add range, and the range is going to be the items. Items. Let's just check. Items, yep. And so we've done that. And then for the gold, we're going to say, what is it? PM dot instance dot gold plus equals gold. There we go. So whatever my current gold is, I will be adding whatever gold is listed in the treasure chest. Okay, we just cleared the chest out, so I want to be able to do the sprite renderer dot sprite. It's going to be equal to the looks. And the looks will now be 1, which is the empty chest. All right. And we should now set our state. So state equals treasures. That should have, why did it not come up? State equals, where's my, there it is. Why did it not come up? Treasure state dot empty. All right. Okay, so if the treasure chest is empty, then I obviously don't want to do all of this. So I can actually ask another question above here called if state is equal to treasure state dot empty return. So we don't do any of this stuff below. Also, we don't want to open or close a chest. That we'll use this again up here. I couldn't care less who enters. If it's open, it's open. I don't care. All right, so nothing happens if I walk in or if I walk out if it's already empty. Only if it's not empty will it do this stuff. All right, that is our treasure chest. I think is basically done. Let's go back and take a look at it now. And here's our treasure chest. So we've got our items, which is a list. We've got our gold. I've got my sprite. Oh, right. Yes, the sprite render needs to be linked into there. The looks are going to be those graphics. So let's just add 3. And let's go to our sprites. Close is the first. Empty is the second. And full is the third. Save. Let's take a look at how this works now. Play. All right, so here's my person. I walk up, yay! So it opens and closes. And I can't walk through it, I can walk behind it. All right, and let's look at our player manager. So we've got nothing in our inventory. Let's go to our treasure chest and let's add some stuff in here. Just 2 things. So I believe it's in our resources, our items, and let's add you, and let's add you. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. Let's go back to treasure chest and let's add, let's say 50 gold. Select the player manager, and if I walk up to here and I hit, wait, let me just grab a potion first. Oh, no, it's no potions. Okay, so if I hit spacebar, I got the 2 things and the 50 gold. Okay, so everything works great for that. Oh, one thing I should always do when I start these off is I should go to this scene called reset, run it, and I set this up in the last tutorial where when we have our scenes state saved, then this will reset all scene states. Let's go back to scene 1. All right. So I think we kind of got everything we need for that to work. Those are the looks. I can hide that away. State is closed. It's open. Okay. Now let's go and make sure that this now, because we saw that it worked, that I collected those items. Now let's go and make sure that this is something that's savable. That will go down in our scene manager. And let's start setting some stuff up in here. Okay, so our scene data is going to need some stuff. We're going to need to have something for tracking, and we're going to need a list for it. So let's start by copying the item tracker, since this is kind of close to what items are like. All right, but we'll call this the chest tracker. And let's copy that, paste that in here. What we're tracking is going to be the, not treasure states, treasure chests. And we can just call it chest object. And for the open close, we'll be using an int. So let's do an int. And let's say it's the chest state. And we don't need anything in there. Okay, so this is where we're now going to be using our constructor, which we're going to pass in the chest object. And we also want to pass in the state. So we're going to pass in the treasure state. Let's do state. Okay, so just like when we did something down, where was it? Down, it was somewhere. It was in one of these. But anyhow, somewhere we did a conversion to try to change. It was string. It was a string we tried to change. Was it in here? Dialog name? Right. Where we changed the NPC into an actual name. Anyhow, I need to change this into an int. And to do that, I'm going to go and say that I want the chest state to be equal to, and I want the int of the state. Oops. That. Right. Okay. So the state that's being passed into it, if I get the int of it, that's getting the index of whatever state it's in. So if it's in the first state, you get a 0. If it's in the second state, you get a 1, so on and so forth. It's just an index. And that will convert that into this. And it's done easily. All right, so now that we have a tracker, I need to be able to save that information. So let's go and make one of these, and this is going to be the chest tracker. Copy that, paste that in here, and we'll call this chests, plural. Okay. Now that we've got somewhere that we can store those, let us now try to store the scene data for it. And I'm just going to grab this, and this is going to be an int, and we're going to be saving the chest states. Okay, we can copy that, and this will be our chest states, and we're going to be getting this from our chests. Copy that, put that in here, and this is not a string, these are ints. Okay, now we want our chest states. We want to get them from our chests, and we are getting, what are we getting? We're getting chest state. There you go. So that state that is saved in here, that's what we're going to be saving in our data file. So all I did was I did expand this, so I had to write something for the chest tracker, and so I can save that. I expanded the scene data to include the chest states there and here. And now when I go to the save data area, I don't have to do anything because all the scene data goes in and nothing's actually really changed. Loading the data is going to be a little bit more tricky though. But before we do that, whenever you run the game, it has to fill all of the slots. So these ones here, items, NPCs, chests, it has to look through the entire scene, find those items, and fill it in. So we are going to just copy one of these. And this is going to be our chests. So if the count is greater than that, I want to find, sorry, it's equal to 0. Okay, so we are going to be finding all of the treasure chest scripts. If there's any object that has it on it, then that's a treasure chest. And we're going to find them all, and let's just call it chest list. Or find chests. There we go. So it's going to find a bunch of chests. And we're going to loop through all of the ones that we found. Let's call this. Okay. And now I can paste, and new, nope, this is a test tracker. And we're not going for dialogues. I want to put the chests in there. The next thing I want to put is I want to find its, I want to convert, where is it? What am I sending into here? I'm sending in the treasure state of that chest. So I am going to be chest dot state. Yeah, because that's finding the treasure chest script, and we just want the state of it. Okay, now the chests, it's going to be here, and the SM int, we set that up. That's the way that we track where it is in the list in the scene manager. All right, save. We have now populated our list with some chests that are in the scene. Now we are going to do the loading data. Here, paste, and data collected, data dialog, data chest states. Is that what I called it? I don't remember. Data chest states. Yes, that's what I called it. All right. So for everything in the data file that we had saved, we are going to then say our chests dot not collected chest state is going to be the data chest states dot I to int. That's an int. Yes. So it's going to load all the data back into our. Let me just pop out so that we can. I'll show you. So the scene manager. Hit play as soon as this finishes compiling. And let's click on the scene manager. Okay, so it has found the chest that is right there in the scene, and the chest state is still at 0. So that 0 gets saved, and when we load it back in, so when I come back to the scene, it'll load from the file and it'll change this to whatever's in the loaded file. Okay, so if it changes that, that's what happens up here when the game starts. First thing it does, it fills the slots with all the chests. Next thing it does, it loads the data, just in case there is data. And now we're going to find, so it loads data, and the load data alters these three things. It says, oh, I found some items, I found some NPCs, I found some chests, and it puts all that information back in. So that's done in the load data. Now we can use these things to set up our scene. So I'm just going to grab this guy here. And this is going to be chest, for each chest tracker in chests. And let's just call this CT, CH, the chest, I guess. Yeah, I can use that. All right, so CH, I can get rid of all of this. So the CH dot, and I'm going to find that chest object. That's the object in the scene. Well, the script, the treasure chest script in the scene. It's going to find that one. And we are going to say that I want to change its state. And the state is going to be equal to what we saved. Now, the reverse of what we did before. What we did before was that we converted the, we got the int of the index number of the enum, the treasure state enum. Now we need to reverse that and say that the state, which is the enum, is going to be equal to, and I'm going to cast the treasure state, and I'm going to do that for an int. So if I put an int here, 0 or 9, whatever, it's going to look in treasure chest, treasure state, and find the 9th thing in there. We don't have 9, and I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way, where I'm going to be looking at the ch dot chest object. No, yes, chest state. I don't need two of those. Okay, so that is going to set the object state to be whatever, this is an int. So whatever the int of this treasure state enum is, it'll set the state to that. We also want to change the graphic, because if I come back in and the treasure's already been collected, then I want to set it to the empty container. So that's the look of it. And the look of it is going to be ch dot chest object dot sr dot sprite. So the sprite for it is going to be equal to, let's put a new line here. I don't know how long this is going to be. Ch dot our chest object and our looks. So the looks is that list of different graphics. So the sprite is coming from the looks, but I need to find the right sprite. I need to, we already have the state. So I can just take it straight from, no, the state is not an int. This is an int though. So let's just do that. And that should work, because this is going to be a 0 or a 1. And we're going to be getting either 0 or 1 from the looks. So we can just use that. And I don't think that was long enough to need a new line. There we go. Save. All right. That seems to be everything we need for saving our chest now. Okay, so what we've done, we have in our scene data made allowances to save the chest state. We have, that's where we put all the information into the chest state. In this top area here, we have found a way of tracking our chest by its treasure chest script and the int of its state. And this is where we're going to store it all. in the start, we need to load all of our data and everything, and then we need to update the items in the scene. Save data did not change any way or form. The load data just took whatever was in the data file and populated the three lists at the top. That's the load data. The fill slots we just added to be able to fill the chests into the fill slots. And that completes our scene manager. Let's close that. Here's our treasure chest. And before we go adding and doing all kinds of fancy stuff, let's just reset, go to prefabs, and oh, I had already practiced this, so let's get rid of that guy there. Delete and unpack. Delete. Okay, so treasure chest prefab. There he is. Okay. Let's move him up now. Next to the path. Okay, so what's in the treasure? This particular treasure chest. Let's do 50 gold again. And let's put in our two fixable objects. I want that one. And I want that one. And there we go. All right. Save and hit play. Their items should work exactly the same. No change on the items. So let's go and collect. Select another item. Our treasure chest opens and closes. Select that item. Now I want to hit spacebar. I've got everything that should have saved into my player manager. Yep. There's all of those things that I added. And scene manager now is showing the chest state. Oh, okay. One last thing to change here. Let's go back to our chest state. And we change the state, but we have not changed back the scene manager. So let's go and do that now. Scene manager dot instance dot chests. And which one do I want to get? Well, I want to get the one that is what do I call it? SM int. The one that's there. And dot state, chest state, and I know that it's going to be equal to 1 because that means collected. So I don't have to do any fancy stuff. I just set it to 1. All right, so that will update our scene manager. And as soon as this finishes, I can hit stop and play again. Stop, play. Like everything, onto the chest, and I hit that. I should have everything in the player manager now. There it all is. Go back to our treasure chest, and let's just head north. So the things I want to look for coming back are the state. It should be empty. Okay, I'll come back south. It's already open and it is empty. So I can select that now. Empty. Good. And that is open. I can walk in front of this. It doesn't matter. As long as that state is set to empty, I can't do anything here. Okay, so we have just added a new element, a treasure chest, which can contain multiple items and multiple things. And we've also needed to go into our scene manager to be able to allow for the addition of saving those chests and their states and all that. Because you don't want to leave the scene, come back, and you got a full chest again. So you want to be able to save the scenes, the chest states. And that's it for now. The next thing I'm going to get into is dealing with the items where um, right now we've got some very basic things for this item that says, okay, it is, in this case, it's just an item that, nope, not that one, the item SO. Right. It's just an item that is going to alter maybe hit points. We don't know what it does. It's got a sprite, it's got a name, and it does something called alter amount. We want to be able to make this way more complex and fancier, and that's what we'll get to in the next one, where um, we'll be learning about how to do custom user interfaces for the inspector for this item. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for being with us and have a great Christmas.